Let's put our hands together, everyone, and welcome Dr. Zafri. Dr. Zafri, thank you so much for taking your time today to spend with our students at Seven Skies. So just a short introduction about Dr. Zafri. Dr. Zafri is a lecturer in University Tenaga Nasional, and he lectures on a very interesting topic, robotics and artificial intelligence. And to encourage the development of local talent in the field of artificial intelligence, he advises I'm sure I'm pronouncing it right, Dr. Zafri. IT-zotic or Itzotic? Itzotic Sdn Bhd, and he's an advisor in Itzotic Sdn Bhd. It's a Malaysian artificial intelligence company, and in the pursuit of new knowledge in the field of machine learning and teaching and also applying them, all of these things keeps him motivated and inspired every day. So I know we are very short of time, just 40 minutes, and you would love to hear Dr. Zafri speaking more than me. So without further ado, the mic is all yours, Dr. Zafri.
Thank you so much, Teacher Ramisa. I've shared my screen. Does it appear? Has it appeared? Yeah. Oh,
so
okay, you're muted. So okay, yeah, I'll get it. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
I'm sharing the right screen. Hopefully. Yeah, should be all right. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't mind questions along the way. I keep my sessions usually quite interactive. If you want to stop me at any time, please do. Otherwise, I believe there's a chat function somewhere. You can just type down your questions there, and we'll go through them once talk is done. I'm going to be rushing through a little bit because we just have like a very short time. And so the topic that we chose today is AI has taken over the world, and it's okay. So we'll go through why I think it's okay. Hope you'll believe the same way too. So as Teacher Ramisa explained just now, I'm from University Tenaga Nasional. I'm from a lab at Uniten called Camaro, which is the Controls AI, Mechatronics and Robotics group. We do quite a bit of robotics there. I also advise a company called Itzotic Sdn Bhd. I'm the technology advisor, and Itzotic is focused on doing things, anything to do with vision AI. So if you have a camera, you have a camera pointed at you right now. I have one pointed at me. On your mobile phone, you have at least two cameras, one at the front and one at the back. On the car, there's cameras. You go to shopping malls, there's a camera. Everywhere you go, there's a camera pointed at you somehow. So all of that is actually vision. And Itzotic is a company that deals with anything to do with pictures or cameras, okay, videos. Coming back to Uniten, we do quite a bit of work on robotics. So as shown as the picture on the right here, that's a mobile robot which uses a technique we call simultaneous localization and mapping, or SLAM, to navigate itself around a room that it has never seen before. So it's going to learn objects that it has seen, try to keep it in memory, and sees objects that it can pass through or cannot pass through, so it'll recognize those things. On the bottom left, we have an example of how we use vision AI, so-called, on mobile vehicles. I didn't prepare the example today, but we also work with Nano Malaysia to build an autonomous car, which is already moving. We have a bit faster. We have a robot here. It's a two-arm robot. Its name is Baxter, and this two-arm robot, it's doing something that we as humans perceive to be relatively mundane. It's actually trying to fold clothes. I'm not sure if you fold clothes, but definitely your parents do. And it's an easy thing for us, but if you try to make a robot do it, it's not so easy. So part of our work here was try to come up with the intelligence to perform the folding of the clothes. Something as simple as folding clothes. Like you pick up a piece of cloth. How do you know it's a shirt or a piece of pants? Like we as humans can recognize it, but how do we teach a robot or a machine to recognize whether it's a shirt or not? Okay, so let's define AI. So AI is R. computer systems that can do tasks that are normally done by humans. Okay? In general, some examples would be visual understanding, as we mentioned just now. If a human can look at a picture, you can tell me what it is. Okay, that's visual understanding. I'm speaking to you now, so you hopefully understand the language that I'm speaking, the words that I'm saying. You understand the meaning of the sentences. Making decisions, something simple like whether at a traffic light junction, which car should go, which cars should stop, something like that is decision making. Or even something like translation between languages. Okay, so these are examples of things that humans can do pretty well. But if we want a machine to do the same, so that falls under the realm of artificial intelligence. Okay. And so AI so artificial intelligence, we call it AI. It's a pretty broad area. As we saw in the examples, a big area of AI is computer vision. Okay. And there's something else under AI that's called machine learning. We'll define this in a bit. But there's an overlap area, okay, where machine learning, so the machines that can learn from its experience, that overlaps with computer vision. And you may have heard nowadays when people talk about AI, they say some word called deep learning as well. It's a subset of machine learning. Okay, so hopefully you know the word subset. Okay, so this is a subset of machine learning, which is a bigger set. Just to highlight, my focus area is the intersection between deep learning and computer vision. Some other technologies that we use, maybe you have used before, like natural language processing. This is when you type things down, let's say on your email. And then the computer can actually recognize what you're typing down. For example, a simple one is like, you're submitting your homework to your teachers via email. And then you say, teacher, here is my assignment. And then you send it, but you forgot to attach the homework. And so the computer can recognize that you're trying to submit something, but it notices that you didn't attach your homework. So it will tell you, hey, you forgot to attach your homework, so please do it. So that's the natural language processing, understanding from words. Probably you do this as well. If you have if you have a phone around you, you can talk to your phone, ask it to search for things. You can ask it to translate languages. So that falls under speech recognition. All of that falls under AI. And if any of you have ever done anything to do with robotics, there's a whole big overlap between AI and robotics. If you've done robotics, there's a lot more things to do with electrical and mechanical engineering, and also the field of robotics that you want to apply it to. All right, let's jump into machine learning, the topic of today, AI. What is it? Okay. Let's take a look at how, machine learning is teaching computers to learn from patterns and that come from the data. I would like to give an example on a little child. Like if you have a baby brother or a baby sister, and you want to teach them how to learn fruit that maybe he or she hasn't seen before. So you show it pictures of an apple, you show it pictures of an orange, and then the more examples you give to your little sibling, the better they will learn. And so that is an example of how we learn from patterns, from examples. And so machines, for AI, we want them to do the same as well. That's the whole topic of machine learning. Additionally, we want them to apply that knowledge to things that they haven't seen before. Okay, so for example, if you give them a different fruit, will they be able to recognize that fruit or not? Okay, so I'm giving you a picture here. What is it? It's a cat, right? Right. What about this? It's a dog. Okay. But okay, we're humans. We're looking at these pictures and we recognize them as a cat and a dog. But how do we recognize it? They both have pointy ears. They both have two eyes. They both have noses. Or one of them has a tail, the other doesn't. And they're both furry. How do we differentiate? There's a lot of features that are similar, but at the same time, we can recognize one is a cat, another one is a dog. Okay, so there are other things that we as humans overlook. There are features of the cats. Maybe the dog's nose is a bit longer, it's a bit more snouty. The whiskers of the cats are longer. There are other features that when you think about it, then only you can figure out, oh yeah, those are the features that I'm looking for when I'm looking at these animals. What about this? This is a dingo. It's kind of like a relative of the dog, but it's not a dog as we recognize it normally. This one here, this is a lynx, a wild cat. Okay, it's still a cat, but its features are not the same as domestic cats. And so there are many different kinds of, just between cats and dogs, there are already many different kinds of cats and dogs. And so if you want to teach an AI to understand or to recognize the differences between cats and dogs, what we'll do is we'll collect a big collection of pictures of cats and a big collection of pictures of dogs. And then we feed all of them into, right now, what we'll call a magic box, an AI model. Okay, it's a magic box. And from there, it will learn the features, and the features that we were talking about just now. Its whiskers or its nose. We don't tell it to look for those features. It will just learn on its own. Okay. Once it has gained the knowledge, we can take this knowledge and then apply it to other pictures that it has not seen before. So over here, it only knows pictures of the cats and dogs that we give it to it, that we give to this AI. But let's say we take that model and we give it a new picture, one that it has never seen before. It's going to make a guess. So that's what AI models do. They make guesses. We teach it information, and then we give it, after it has learned, we give it a new piece of information, and then it will make a guess. Whether it's right or wrong, that's something else that we can do to improve the AI. Okay. All right, so hopefully you can see that now. Machine learning is to teach computers how to learn patterns from data. And for today, I'm giving a lot of examples on pictures so that you can see it. And then apply this knowledge to new things that they haven't seen before. I'll go to an example now. Okay, this is something called the Teachable Machine. So we're going to go to a website called the Teachable Machine, which I will open now. Okay, and you can try this out yourself as well. It's free. Just Google for Teachable Machine. Okay, we're going to do, there are 3 different projects here. I'll focus on the image project first. Okay, I will need to turn off my video because I will use my video over here. So I'm over here now. Welcome to my house. It's my house. Okay. So just like we learned just now, an AI needs examples first. It needs data. So let's give it some data. On the left here, let's teach it some things. Let's teach it me. Okay. So this is a Zafri. So I'm holding the record button. Take some examples. Okay, this is a Zafri. Let's teach it some other object. I have a dictionary here. Okay, so I'll put here dictionary. I'll take some pictures of it. Okay. And then I can train the AI. This is where it sits. Okay, don't worry about all this jargon and numbers over here. We just press train the model. So now it's learning. The system is now learning based on the pictures that we gave to it. Once it has learned, it will apply its knowledge to the right-hand side over here. So now it recognizes, hey, this is a Zafri. If I show it the dictionary, it will say, oh yeah, that's a dictionary, dictionary. Okay, so that's a quick example of how an AI works. There's the training part. Okay, that side. You have to give the data first, the data set. You have to train it, and then it applies it over here. Okay, and you can try this out yourself as well. Turn this one off. Okay, let's get back to. Yeah, okay. Let's do this first. Okay, I'm back here. So that's something called the teachable machine. You can check it out yourself and try it out maybe after our session. All right, let's move on. So essentially, what is the AI doing? It's just taking a bunch of numbers and doing some kind of magic on those numbers, and then the output are more numbers. Okay, that's all essentially what an AI is doing. So an example here would be like a graph of numbers. Okay. Graph of numbers is the input into the AI, and then we train the AI to learn maybe that this is a red graph and this is a blue graph. Okay, and so the output will be another set of numbers, or in this case, another set of a sequence of numbers, which is in the form of a graph. Or we can give it audio. Okay, so this is an example of an audio signal. We feed this audio signal to an AI model, and let's say we want, this time we don't want another piece of audio, we want text. Okay. Essentially, all of this is data, and data is just numbers. Okay. You see these being this kind of models being applied to something like Google Translate. Over here, we have Google Translate. And you can input text in okay, let's say we put it in English. Hello, can you help me? Okay, and it will take this text and convert it into a different language. So that's done via AI. There's even a button here to make the sound. Konnichiwa desu ka? Konnichiwa, watashi wa tasukete kurimasen ka? Okay, so that's what it says there. Or if I, as in the example we were showing just now, how about audio? So instead of that, maybe we can, Nihongo wakarimasu ka? Okay, yeah. Okay, so it can accept my audio voice and then convert it. Okay, so I'm talking about other things right now, but it can convert the audio to text and to a different language. Okay, so that's done by AI as well. Okay, there are different models that can do different things. Another example would be, instead of just a graph or a sequence of numbers, how about an array of numbers? Okay, XY. Okay, so an array of numbers. Actually, an array of numbers is what makes up a picture. All pictures are actually an array of numbers, such as a picture of this, cat over here. Okay. If you have an array of numbers and you can arrange it as such, you'll end up with a picture. And we can feed these pictures into an AI model for it to guess what this object is. Okay, and guesses are usually numbers as well. Each one of these objects can be categorized as a number, and then it will give you something called, the word is probability. You might have learned it in school before, probability.
So it's like a percentage as well, doctor? The more
yeah, exactly like a percentage. So each one of these numbers, that's showing it's 82% confident that the picture is a picture of a cat. It's 2% confident that it's a bird. Okay, so yeah, exactly. It is a percentage. Can be written as a percentage. Right. Next. essentially, it is just numbers being converted into another set of numbers. And in the middle, the AI, if we peel this blue box, you are actually going to see a bunch of nodes that look like this. And I'll describe it right now. This is called an artificial neural network. Okay, from the neural networks of our brain. But it's not really, well, now that we know how our brain works, it's not really, it doesn't really function like the brain's neural network. But that's how we started off in the history. And so we stuck with a name called an artificial neural network. That brings us to the area of computer vision. As I explained just now, cameras are everywhere. There's videos uploaded to YouTube every, what was it? It's 300 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. And then on Instagram, there's 100 million photos and videos uploaded per day. So if you look at all that data, the content produced in one day would take more than 50 years for a single person to go through everything. There's so much visual data content out there. And so the rest of the talk, I'll probably give some examples of how it's being used. So we saw just now image classification, where I show a picture and then the AI will guess what is the object. Okay, so that's called image classification. We have over here image retrieval. That means we want to try and to get back pictures of similar features. I'll give an example right now on, again, I'm going to Google something called Google Photos. Some of you might know what it is. All right, so this is my personal Google Photos. What we'll be able to find is that we can search for objects. So for example, if I type cats, right? I type cats. It will show, it will return to me all the pictures I have of cats. So these are all my cats. If I put something like the roof of a building, it will search to all my pictures and look for pictures of roofs. Okay, so that's a kind of image retrieval.
So all the pictures
else,
that we have searched through our Google search, or what we have saved under our Google Photos, Dr.
These are all pictures. If we're specifically talking about Google Photos, it's specifically going through the pictures of what we have uploaded to Google Photos.
Okay.
Yeah. It will automatically do it. There's an option. If you don't want it to do it, there's an option for you to opt out in case you're worried. Okay. You can even what I've done also, if I have assigned names to people as well, and I did this in my last session with my colleague from Uniten. This is Mr. Dixon Yeo. He's another AI engineer in Uniten. We did a hands-on class at our campus, and I was giving an example that I can give a name to people because the model will actually look for faces in the picture, okay? And then I just assign a name to one person, and then it will look for all the photos of that particular person in my database, in all my photos. Okay. All right, so that's an example of image retrieval. This goes the same way with Google image search. When you're Googling something and then you want to look for a picture of, like, for example, sakura trees. Google now looks at the pictures, and if it sees a picture of a sakura tree, it recognizes it, and then it will return that picture to you. It's a bit different from how it was originally. Okay, that's the time. Next is object detection. Okay, so we learned a couple here just now. First is classification. Next is retrieval. Third one is object detection. So detection is instead of just giving you a picture of a bus and then it just says bus, it will tell you where is the location of the bus in the picture. Okay? If I give you a picture of this horse up here, it will tell you that the horse is located, it will give you a bounding box. This blue color box is going to also have the coordinates to say that the horse is located at this part of the picture. So that's object detection, to find out where is it in the picture. Next one is image segmentation. We use this quite a lot, whether you know it or not. Some I see in the video here. I can see Danish in the picture, in the videos. Hi, Danish. Sorry, I picked out your name. You notice that your face is sharp and your background is blurred. So what's happening here is that an AI is being applied, just like in my picture over here. I'm being segmented. Okay, so my outline, the outline of my face and my shoulders and my hands, they are being drawn, and then something else is being replaced on the background. So this is actually a kind of AI also being used, and it's called image segmentation. If any one of you use Instagram, there's a lot of filters that will do a lot of different things. A lot of it will use image segmentation. Things like face swap, okay, face replacement. Okay, so I'll give a couple of examples here of where we apply this technology in Malaysia. So via our company Exotic, we applied a couple of examples here. The video at the top shows how we can detect people wearing face mask or not. Well, we can do that example very quickly here. Similar to the AI I shown you just now, we teach the AI to learn whether, first of all, to detect where is the face, and then once we know where the face is, we'll find out whether the person is wearing a face mask or not. Another example at the bottom here is that we can also perform some kind of a measurement to tell if people are too close to each other, because now we're in like a COVID world, and people are worried if there are too many people that are in close proximity, we have to take care of our SOP. So people who are too close together, if you can see the example here, so if they're too close together, we'll color a red color because they are too close. There's a way for us to measure the distance between the people, and we can do such things with AI now. Another example, this is a simpler one where we implemented to farmers. Sometimes farmers grow their crops, but unfortunately they might encounter diseases. And if they don't know what disease it is, sorry, the other way around. If they know what disease it is, they know what is the medicine or what steps they should take to make the disease go away. And so what we did was we trained an AI model to sit inside a handphone. Okay, so the phone can detect what kind of disease it is, and this will help farmers to improve the output of their farms. Okay. This is an interesting application where we use AI to describe a photo. So given a photo, you and I, humans, we can look at it and say like, that's a teddy bear in a garden or something like that, okay? So these texts down here are generated by a computer. A computer came up with these sentences. It's not always correct though. So the example over here, a woman is holding a cat in her hand. That's totally not a cat, okay? So it's not perfect, but you can see that such technologies can be used to describe pictures. They can be used to describe pictures. Maybe if there's something urgent happens, something like maybe an accident occurred. And so the sentence that can come out, an accident has occurred, and then you can use that information to take action. All right, so something a bit more different here is style transfer. You can go to this website, deepart.io. What we did over here was we took one photo, okay, and this is a photo. We just take the photograph, and then we want to apply, or you would call it a filter, but actually this we're applying the style. So let's say this painting on the right, we want to apply this painting method to this photo. And so what we get as the output is that same flower, but as if it's painted. Okay, so that's an example of style transfer. And I showed another one over here as we took a picture of the Mona Lisa and a famous local Malaysian artist called Lat. I don't know whether you've heard of him. He was very famous at one time. And his art style is very distinct. Like you look at this character, you know that that's a Lat drawing. And so we combine these two artworks, and then we get what would seem, what would happen if Lat drew the Mona Lisa. Okay, and it looks like that. And this is generated via AI, these two photos. Interestingly, okay, I found an actual drawing by Lat of the Mona Lisa. So this is a drawing of the Mona Lisa by Lat, and it's quite similar. Probably the nose, maybe it's his style. So you can see that the style transfer does get something interestingly right. We have things like generative AI when you view YouTube or Netflix, when you do some shopping. How do you get those recommendations? What is the recommended product or recommended video that comes to you? That's all actually done via AI. AI can also be used to generate other things like artwork. On the right-hand side, I'm showing this first one here it is generating a realistic artwork based on a non-realistic input. Okay. Here, an AI can be used to generate music. If any one of you take music class, you know it's really difficult for you to come up with your own original music. AI can come up with can create music for you now. On the left-hand side, all these faces, they are all fake. These are not real people. These are all people that were created by AI.
It's one of the downfalls as well. Miss Lena has raised her hand. Yes, Miss Lena.
Hi, I have a question. My
Sure.
young kids are on TikTok all the time. So when you talk about FYP, is that an AI? Is that how they detect, similar things that they? Is that it? Is that an AI?
I forgot what FYP is.
A For You page. It's a For You page. So is that an AI as well? Is that how they
yes,
get
it is.
similar?
In the background, yes.
Oh, okay. So that's an AI as well application to the TikTok in that sense.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Do you still have a lot more to cover, Dr. Zafri? Because we are in the last 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, probably I'll just give one last example here.
Okay.
And then I'll end it.
Okay. Last actually 2 minutes more before this
meeting
finishes. Yeah, okay.
I know, I see the time.
Okay, great. Okay.
This last example here is on how AI can be used to learn to play games. It sounds simple. This is a simple game of Pong, where you have to get high score. But what happens when we train this AI for a long time? It becomes an expert. But further down the line, what it does is, if you've ever played this game, there's a trick to it where you hit on one side and then you can have the ball just keep on bouncing at the top. And so you'll get your scores faster. So the game can actually learn how to find a trick, okay, or a better way to solve the problem. So this is a game called Dota. They applied AI here as well, and what they discovered when they trained the AI so many times, it could beat a human. But what was discovered is that the AI discovered a new tactic that no other player in the world discovered yet. And so once all the humans saw that the computer used that tactic, it was like, that is the best tactic. So meaning to say is that the AI could discover some new knowledge that people did not know before. And then once it's discovered, everybody can benefit from that knowledge. I know over here it's maybe not so beneficial because it's a game, but the same technique can be applied to other aspects of the world, like in the field of medical science, for example. Anyway, that was my last example.
Okay.
timely.
Well,
Yep.
it's I just wish this was pretty long as well, Dr. Zafri, because there's a lot of things that we can cover. But I think this whole 40 minutes went like a zip, very very fast. It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to join back. I think Dr. Zafri has covered everything. So thank you so much, Dr. Zafri. And if possible, if things go back to normal, we will come to Unit 10. Maybe our students can have real examples, and we can have a visit to Unit 10 as well, your department.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zafri. Thank you everyone for spending your
Appreciate your
time.
time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.